welcome. It's day 14 of my 75 hard and still plugging away at it, as I hope you are if you're on the 75 hard. If you're not, never mind, or you can go find some of those videos. But really I want to talk about compounding effort today. Just this really profound thing. We talk about compound interest, but I don't think compound effort gets enough airplay. And it's a little bit of a variation on thinking about habits. And I'm sure you've heard about that if you have been on my channel at all or are into personal growth and self-improvement. But I just want to give a plug in a new way. I saw something not long ago, and it's just really potent, and it stayed with me, seeing the power of change and how compounding effort worked, maybe in the best visual that I have seen in a long time. And I want to share not only kind of my twist on what this individual had for themselves, but I want to just share my own graph personally. And so I kind of reconstructed what I remember them saying in their story, and I want to share that with you. And then if you want to stick around, you can see what my graph currently looks like as well. And so this all ties into just seeing transformation, creating the life of your dreams. And it's starting small with things that actually have impact over the long run. And where compounding effort comes in is just this incredible ability of for things to just take off, for that growth curve to happen. And I think that it's really profound. We put a lot of effort in when we're saving money and we don't see a return, just like compounding interest. For a long time, it's just consistency, 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 and then you start to see the results. It's the same with having a business. When you're an entrepreneur, it's consistency, consistency, putting in the time. I know sometimes at the beginning of businesses, it felt like you weren't even making minimum wage for the amount of effort and time you were putting in and the work you were doing into your business. But those efforts would pay off dramatically not long after, sometimes longer than you wished. But anyway, the gentleman that shared this, I wish I could give credit to, but it was some other YouTube channel. But he was basically sharing his story over about 18 months, how he had lost something like, I don't know, 75 or 80 pounds. It was significant anyway. Maybe it was 50, maybe it was 100. But over these 18 months, he shared what he had done in order to, like, just the changes in his life that had taken place. And he started walking like a mile a day, and that was it. And so for a year and a half, he had walked over a mile a day. And then he started, at some point, a few months into it, he started walking 2 miles a day. And he had continued to maintain that through for over a year now. At some point, I made some of these up, but you get the gist. He stopped drinking soda, just made a little change in his life, and he could record that on his graph. And then at some point, he joined a gym and started going 3 times a week. And then at some point he stopped eating fast food a couple times a week, and then he started eating more fruits and veggies as time went on. And what you see is you really see the power of this graph. And although it's little steps, each one by themselves isn't a lot, but when you add up the compounding effort, you get results where you get somebody who's lost something like 80 pounds. And so that's his graph, and best I can remember it, but he did it out on a whiteboard, and there was just something so powerful about this visual that I want to give you, that drawing, to hang on to, because if you're trying to make change in your life, whether it's the 75 hard, whether it's a mini habit, whether it's any other way that you're trying to bring change into your life, you'll see the most results if you can find a way to do something like this, building compounding effort into your life. And so for me, this is the one that I did for the last couple years. I just tried to map out my experience over the last couple of years since I decided to tackle an area that I was really frustrated with, which was my fitness, my health and fitness. I hadn't had a lot of self-care for many years prior. You might have heard that in other videos. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically, so on my graph, if you're to look at it, basically it starts off with a mini habit, and of course I've always described that as something so ridiculously small you couldn't fail on your worst days. And so I started that. I put my shoes on, and my mini habit was to put my shoes on, my running shoes on, and walk out my front door. And so I did that for quite a while there at the beginning of that first year. At some point I fizzled out and I stopped keeping that because I made a lot of progress in these other areas and I really got the traction I needed. But at some point I started walking a mile a day. 15 or 20 minutes. And then at some point I started walking 2 miles pretty quickly after I started. Now these are dotted, and that was my way of just showing that it hasn't been every day of the week, but, or every day through the year, but pretty consistently, in the last couple years, I have made walking a regular part of my life. And then a couple months into it, oh, I don't even have it on here. Let's see. I started, oh no, I do. So at some point I started, soon after that I joined a gym, and I started going to a HIIT class 3 times a week. And so as long as we're not traveling, almost pretty well without fail, I try to go. Now it's only 2 days a week because I've added other things in, but I started by going 3 days a week. Then a few months after that, I started playing pickleball, learning how to do that, and have consistently done that for the last more than a year and a half now, almost 2 years. Somewhere in there, I started taking a Sabbath day, a rest day, and really making that a poignant part of my life, and the trickle effect into my family is kind of reverberating. And then about a year ago, I joined a CrossFit gym, and I have made it my practice to go about 2 times a week to that. And then so I've added some new things just recently. Just before Christmas, a couple months ago, I played in my first, or Thanksgiving, I guess it was, I played in my first pickleball tournament and had a blast. Actually won the mixed doubles. And started mountain biking with my son. Got a mountain bike for Christmas, so that was pretty exciting. So we've been out. We are trying to go about once a week. It's not quite been as consistent as we hope, but it's something new I've started. And then I started the 75 hard, and here we are, whatever it is, 14 days into it. And so I just share this because I think it's really powerful to really see that this is what you can do for change in your life, and how that compounding effort can make a difference, and really encourage you to start with one thing. If you have to start there, whether it's the 75 hard, again, maybe you start with the 75 soft or the 75 mini. I'm trying to throw that in there, a way to combine mini habits with the 75 hard concept. Just do it for 75 days. Pick a mini habit for 75 days and make that the starting point of some major change in your life. So that's all I have today. I hope that's some encouragement for you. And if you got value out of it, please subscribe to the channel. It's a growing channel, and I would love to see to get to share more stuff with you regularly. So thank you so much. I'll see you on the next video.